Howdy everybody, and welcome back to the GMS mobile RPG tutorial. So, as always, we are following along with Heartbeast as he develops his own version of the mobile RPG for Godot. And this is all to promote his One Big Godot course. So make sure you add yourself as a supporter if you're interested in learning how to use alternative game engines to increase your marketable skills. And also just to support a really great teacher. So let's get cracking. So today we are going to be adding text boxes to we're going to add one text box to our game, specifically the stats text box. So let's get started on that. To get us started, we're going to go down and create a new object here. We're going to call it object_stats because we need a stats object. And I'm going to put it over here in the miscellaneous section. Set that as persistent, though we're not really changing rooms, so we shouldn't really need that. But I'll just put it in there just in case we actually change our minds later on, and then all of a sudden I'm wondering, why in the world isn't this code working? And it's just because I forgot to save the stats box as we move from room to room. The stats object. Easy code here. Stats and maxes. Max underscore HP underscore is equal to 25, and I'm just putting whatever arbitrary values I feel right here. I haven't tested these for balance or anything. HP underscore is equal to max underscore HP underscore, or you could set it to 25, but in this case it's easier to just set it to max HP. That way you don't have to remember that your HP was 25. Then we have max underscore AP is equal to 3. AP underscore is equal to max underscore HP underscore, and max underscore MP underscore is equal to, will give us 10, and MP underscore is equal to max underscore MP, not UP. We're not going up here, and that's done. So that's fairly easy. We're not going to be doing anything else with the stats object for a while now. We just need to get that going. So secondly, we are going to need to create a new object, and this is going to go into our text boxes. Object underscore stat box, and give it a sprite. This will be specifically 9/frame. Move it over here to the side, and while we're thinking about it, make sure we're on the instance layer. Let's drag it over. Make sure we're aligned. Yes, good. On we go. And we can, well, actually I'll keep that room open because the room options acts as my border so that I know where you guys can see when I zoom this in. Speaking of zooming in, we'll zoom in now. And we're going to add in some create variables and some draw variables here. There's not going to be any step. We just need a draw. So to create our variable here, we're going to get started with text underscore color because we're going to be drawing some text here. So of course we're going to want to be able to change our text color. And width underscore is equal to 84. Height underscore is equal to 18. And in fact, we're going to be copying the script that we previously made for buttons, and we're going to be using all the same code for the most part for drawing this. And we are also going to be borrowing from CSS because CSS uses like margins, borders, and padding to determine different stylistic choices, and so in this case we're going to use those to help us position stuff and make it easier to change things around if we wanted to change the position of things. So we're going to have a border underscore is equal to 2 because if you remember correctly on our sprite, the border is 1, 2, 2, 2. And we are also going to add in a padding underscore of 1, which means from the border we'll have 1 pixel between us and our text. And rows underscore is equal to 1, columns underscore is equal to 3, and then we have, yeah, that should be it. So let's go and start doing some drawing here. To get us started off with, we're going to create a new script. Draw underscore 9 slice underscore text box. And we are going to give it sprite underscore index x, y, width underscore and height underscore. The code for this, if you go over to your scripts and you duplicate the draw 9 slice button, rename it draw 9 slice text box, and there we go. And we'll get rid of the string. We aren't going to need that. So get rid of there, get rid of there, and get rid of it there. And that, of course, also changes all these. So these have to go back to nothing. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And just change up the code a little bit here for prettifying everything. And here this should all be the same. Pound region edges, pound in region, pound region corners, pound in region. That's just, again, just for beautifying it so that we can collapse all of our code. Like so. And we could just delete the text label area. So that should be that. If we come back to our stat box object and try running our game now, we'll see our stat box object draws right here. Cool. And make sure we disappear our mock-up here. So next up, we need to fill in some variables, don't we? So let's pull this out here. I'm actually going to show you 2 different ways to do the variables here, and this will kind of be useful because it can show you the power of using loops and versus just being able to do it straight up. In this case, since we're only going to be doing the 3 columns here and it's all very simple, it won't really hurt to do everything, just write it all out normally. But if you were doing a lot more stuff, you might find it useful to use for loops to draw and position stuff instead. So let's set up var underscore cell width is equal to something. Var underscore cell height is equal to something. Var underscore cell x is equal to something. Var underscore cell y is equal to something. And draw underscore set underscore h line. fa underscore center. Draw underscore set underscore v align. fa underscore top. and draw underscore set underscore color, text underscore color. There we go. That's all the setup. Let's fill in the nitty gritty here. Okay, so we need to figure out, so we coming back to here, we have 3 columns and 1 row. So we need to figure out, okay, well, how big are each one of our cells that we're creating here going to be? And if you know about Excel and how that works out, how spreadsheets work out, then you'll recognize what I'm talking about when I say cell. If you don't know, then you really need to learn. So go and find a tutorial on those somewhere. So to get us started off, we're going to figure out, okay, well, we have a width underscore, so in this case 84 minus 2 times padding, right? Because we have 2 borders, and each one of them is going to have some padding. And speaking of borders, we also have 2 times border underscore. And we are going to do all that, so that would give me 84 minus 2. So that'd be 82 minus 4 would give me 78. And we're going to divide that by the number of columns. That way we know what the width of our cell is. And we're going to do the same thing with the height. Underscore minus 2 times padding underscore minus 2 times border underscore divided by rows. And cell X would be X plus padding underscore plus border underscore plus underscore cell width times 0.5. So what does this do? This gives us the X corner, and right there, and adds in the padding and border, so moves us to where the cell's position is. The X position of the cell would be on the top left corner, and then moves us even further over to the center of the cell, because we are going to use the center for when we draw our text. That way we don't have to bother with V-align, and it makes the centering much easier. And same thing with the Y plus padding underscore plus border underscore. And you may be asking why we don't use margins as well. Well, it's because, as it turns out, margins don't really affect anything when we're drawing here. So the margin is all about where we position it in the XY in the room in the first place, I guess. So first up, cell 1, HP. Update our text. So if something happened in the previous frame, or before we got to the draw point, such as the player lost HP, then it will, of course, update our text that we're going to draw. And that's actually something I noticed that's a little bit easier with GameMaker Studio versus Godot, is that the coding in GameMaker Studio is a lot more straightforward and much easier to use versus Godot. But then again, Godot has a lot of built-in tools for doing animations and stuff easily that GameMaker doesn't have, which makes it a lot easier to do animations and stuff in your game and for positioning things. Like, I had to come up with these formulas for finding your cell locations, while in Godot you just get a box, drag it onto the screen, divide it up, and say, give me 3 columns, and draw the text in the center, and it's all done. No need for all these formulas. So let's give ourselves a text underscore HP underscore, well, we don't need that, just give ourselves text, and since I'm doing it, text underscore is equal to blank. Equal to HP \n. The \n is an escape clause telling us new line. So that way what we draw next is added as a new line. And what we're going to do next is string object underscore stats dot HP. Then create offsets. Now these offsets I experimentally determined with a lot of trial and error to figure out exactly where would be a good place to position the text from where we got it aligned. And this is based entirely on your font. Your font will change with these offsets would change if you change the font. So you'll have to figure out the where the offset should be if you want to do your own font. I'll also show you how to determine that as well. So var underscore text underscore y underscore offset is equal to -4. Var underscore text underscore x, or yeah, y. I don't know why I did y on top. I usually do x on top. Offset is equal to 1. And draw the text. Draw underscore text underscore ext underscore cx plus underscore text underscore x underscore offset. Yes, good. And then underscore cy plus underscore text underscore y underscore offset and text. And for our separation, there'll be 7 pixels of separation between the new lines. Again, that was experimentally determined. Underscore c width. And for your benefit here, draw underscore sprite underscore ext. And I'll just copy paste this. Draw that pixel sprite, subimage 0 at our cxcy110c underscore red. This makes it red, so it stands out 1. And let's give it a test and see what it looks like. Colon instead of a semicolon. Oh, I forgot about that, but you need to remember to come back into the battle room and turn back on the mockup, delete the stat box there, because what we need to do is drag in a copy of our object stats. Doesn't really matter where you put it, but yeah. So we need that in there. And the reason why we're deleting the stat box is because if you don't do that, then when the stat box is created, it will try to draw information from a object that hasn't been created yet. Well, actually, this version I made won't, because it's drawing all the information over in the draw event. But if it was in the create event, if this part was in the create event, then that would happen and you would get a crash. That was what happened to me the first time I tried doing this stuff. So let's try that again. And as you can see, there's the red dot right there. I used that to align where the HP 25 should be. And you can do the same thing, just draw the pixel there, and then that will be your center top, and you can align your text from there. We'll disappear you and comment out that because we don't need it anymore. And let's do part 2. Cell 2 AP. And for this, we are just going to copy and paste all of our code here. Update our text. Turn that from HP to AP. AP. Create our X offsets. Don't need to do that again. So all we need to do is update our text. and then draw it. However, we do have to add something new here. So because we are moving our text, we want to draw in the second cell. We need to remember to add a cell width to our underscore CX. So we could actually just go like this and do plus equal C width. Update our text, then draw it, and that'll draw it over into the next one. And we'll do the same thing again. This time 3 MP, set up CX plus equals cell width because we are in the MP and we need to add another cell width. And update our text. Text underscore is equal to MP backslash n MP and draw our text. So if we go and give it a try now, you'll see that we got all of them drawing now. HP, AP, MP. And our AP is drawing with 25. Why is that? Object stats AP. Did I remember? Oh, I set my AP to max MP. Max AP, HB. There we go. And we're not using the AP yet. We'll do that next episode. Get rid of the mock-up. And now that that's finished, I'll also show you the alternate method. And this takes all that code that we had there and converts it into one fancy for loop. Okay. For var I equals 0, while I is less than columns, I plus plus. Again, the code is the same except we tack on I times underscore C width. Then update our text. We use a array for our text. And we draw from the array the appropriate text. So we have down here underscore text I, and that just draws the right one from there. And that would do this here, does the same thing as all of this. However, I like all of this in this instance because, well, there's only 3 things we're doing here, and it makes it easier to read, kind of, in this case, by having it like this. But at the same time, if we did have other things we wanted to do, like extra rows, and maybe we wanted to have effects that would affect all the different where the text is drawn and stuff, then we could use this to change those things around. So anyways, that's how you set up the text box here for the stat box. Alright, I think that's everything then. So next episode, look forward to a little polish as we add some more effects and cause our character to take damage and to use AP and to actually use the churn system properly and so on. So thank you everybody for watching, and remember to support Heartbeast in his tutorial, his Kickstarter. The link is at the in the description for this video, and good luck with your programming.